Now, with just a few years to go before the next elections, public opinion in Ghana is shifting fast. A new national tracking poll by Global InfoAnalytics reveals growing support for the president. Changes in leadership dynamics and surprising trends around corruption and the economy. To unpack the numbers, we're joined now by Musa Dankwa. He's head of research and lead pollster at Global InfoAnalytics. Musa, thank you so much for making the time and welcome to Channel Africa.
Thank you very much for having me and good evening to you.
Yeah, 70% of Ghanaians now say the country is headed to the right direction. What's behind the wave of optimism?
Right. Thank you very much. If you look at the last 3 months, I think from March till June, we've seen a number of good news on the economic front. We've seen inflation actually dropping quite significantly. We've seen the cedi gaining strength, recovering all its lost values over the years. We've seen corresponding reduction in transport fares in some cases. We've seen reduction in cost of certain goods and services. So people are feeling optimistic about where the country is headed. And for that reason, you see the direction of the country move from 62% in the April poll to 70% now.
Yeah, and it's interesting because President Mahama's approval is up 73%. That's a big number. Which group of regions are driving that shift?
In fact, on the approval of the president, the entire regions we have in Ghana approve of his performance, including the stronghold of the opposition party. There's no single region in the country that disagrees with his performance. So on that note, we've seen him performing very well. And this is the first time we've seen a president from a polling perspective enjoying the support from every corner of this country.
And that was my next question. Is this something we've seen before in Ghana's polling? But even some opposition strongholds are warming up to him. This must be surprising to many. Wouldn't you agree?
Yes, in fact, if you look at Ashanti region, where the ruling party just won 34% of the vote last time, Mahama enjoys 46% approval in that region. Another region that is strong hold of the opposition, Eastern region, Mahama is on 68%. And in the hometown or home region of the vice president, the then candidate, Mahama is up 87%. So across everywhere, he is doing very well.
And Musa, I want to hear what voters are telling you, because looking at the economy, around 74% approves of the president's handling of the economy, but job creation score is lower. What are you hearing on the ground?
Yes, I think what they're telling us is that they've seen a number of policies that is being implemented, but those are yet to deliver any meaningful fruit in terms of job creation. So this, measure probably will be tested properly in a year's time, where they would have had time to see whether the measures have created any jobs or not. But so far, his worst performance is on job creation.
And there's also been strong support for the suspended Dansu levy. What does that say about public mood around the energy issues in the country?
Actually, people recognize that there is an issue that needs to be resolved in the sector. And for that matter, they are prepared to pay a bit more to get that issue resolved. Because nobody wants to see doomsday situation, what they call the power outages that we saw some years back. So they are prepared to make sacrifice. And this is the first time we've seen citizens willing to pay tax in order to solve the problem. In the past, there have been opposition to any taxes that they impose.
Yeah. And Musa, I must say that this is a fresh wave for African leaders because it looks like things are changing. But on occupation, the presidency and ministers now seen as among the least corrupt. Is it because of the laws that he has put in place, or what's changing here?
No, since we started measuring this data from April, we have seen a general perception of corruption across the country coming down. People are seeing an effort to tackle corruption in terms of effort by the Attorney General, the Office of the Special Prosecutor, following or chasing people up for corrupt practices, and also the perception that the presidency will take action when there is any case of corruption. That sentiment alone is driving people to believe that I think corruption is on the down. I mean, it's being fought rightly at the moment by the presidency. So if you look at how they perceive the presidency now is the last but one perceived corrupt institution in the country. In the past, they've been number 2. Now they're last but 2. And also, the ministers and government appointees are the lowest ranking, 4.14 score. That is the first time we've seen this in any polling terms, because those two groups have always been on the top.
Musa, you and I can agree that the Electoral Commission is now ranked as one of the most corrupt institutions. Why the shift in perception? Why do we find ourselves here now?
You know, the Electoral Commission issue is a very dicey one. In fact, if you assess the performance of the commissioner herself in the last election, she scores a very high mark. But subsequently, there has been some issues in few areas that they believe has not been handled well. And that is impacting on the image of the commission as a whole. And recently, there was an election in Ablekumanov, one of the few areas that remained inconclusive. And that, I think, is one of the blots that the commission had on its reputation. So people generally perceive them to be corrupt.
Yeah, and Musa, let's now talk about the future. Looking ahead to the 2028 elections, Bahomia is the clear front runner for NPP. What's driving his appeal?
I think for some reason, people who want him back again believe that once he's been marketed before, it will be easier for him to be sold again to the public this time around. So he's riding at the back of that kind of sentiment. He's there before, he has experienced a known face, so let's bring him. There is other opposition people who are opposing to that, but those people are a minority right now.
Now, Musa, lastly, before I let you go, what methodology did you use to put together this poll, and how long did it take you to actually come up with these percentage points?
Right. We adopted the 3-model approach. We deployed some of the sample online, about 1,100 online. And then we did a telephone interview of 1,457. And then face-to-face in the field, nearly 8,000 people. So altogether, about 10,400 were interviewed. It took us from 10th May to about 19th June to conclude both the online and the face-to-face interview. We interview people across the country randomly, and they are done by either a computer-assisted personal interview or telephone interviews.
So with this research that you have done and compiled it, do you perhaps have male and female and middle class and people who are working, people who are not working? How did you categorize it? Or it's just all people with different views with regards to the upcoming elections?
No, within the sample we deployed, 42% of the sample were female and 58 were male. When you look at the age group, people who are below 30 or 44 years accounts to close to 80%. You can see that 80% of the country is below 44 years of age. And then those who have education, 18% have junior high school, 40% have senior high education, 31% have tertiary, and 11% have no formal qualification. In terms of employment, about 62% of the sample were employed, 26 were unemployed, 11 were students, and pensioners were 1%.
All right. Are these numbers likely to change?
Yes, we are doing this quarterly, so we'll be tracking this number all the way till 2028. So once there are changes, we'll let you know.
All right. Musa, thank you so much for making the time.
My pleasure.
There you have it, Musa Dakwa, Head of Research and Lead Pollster at Global InfoAnalytics.
The pulse of the continent in 60 minutes. Stay informed and inspired with Africa World Hour on Channel Africa.